Hello, Gelato Familia. What is going on? George, the Disney Italiano, coming to you back with another Hollow Gelato Live. It's been a minute. I actually just finished up a live with a good friend of ours, Mr. Theme Park Conductor, and we're going to keep the good times rolling with another back to back Hollow Gelato Live. Today, I got a very good friend of mine joining today, making his Hollow Gelato debut, Mr. Lucas Kim. How you doing today, sir?
Thanks for inviting me, George. I've been always wanting to get into your stream for a while. Now I finally get invited after Christmas, so I'm very excited. Thank you.
Absolutely, and glad you're here. If you want to let everyone know where they can find you on social media.
So you can follow me on Lucas and Disney on YouTube, and then also you can follow me on X as I Lucas K on it now. That's my new X handle. As for Blue Sky, you can follow me. It's lucaskim.com on Blue Sky, and everything else. As of right now, I started like I'm gonna start posting a couple of things on Instagram. I'm getting a little bit used to it. I'm not a big Instagram fan, but everyone seems to be posting a lot of stuff over there. So you'll see me pretty soon.
Absolutely, we're glad to have you on, and I can't wait to have this conversation with you. We got a lot to talk about today, but first, going into the chat, we have a birthday person here. SD Drawings had a great 32 birthday today. Well, happy birthday, SD Drawings, and welcome. And you know what? You have to celebrate your birthday with a Hollow Gelato Live. I mean, come on. I mean, you get cake. I mean, you got to have the Hollow and the gelato. Yeah, cake and ice cream. Come on, it just fits. And then, of course, we have Kev on the go. Hour 7 of lives. Yes, absolutely. I just did almost a 3.5 hour live, and now we are going again. So can't wait. And then we also have, let's see, we got Mademoiselle in the house. And then, of course, we got my babe Abby. Let's see who we Remy D. Welcome back, man. Thanks for joining in. Let's see. Wow, what hot takes we're going to go into. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we got a lot to discuss today. So in any case, Lucas, I want to start off with just kind of kicking it off of your overall thoughts, because I don't think I've really had a conversation with you with everything that's been going on yet about the
Sure.
I like to call like the streaming wars, if you will,
Oh
and
yeah, yeah.
with with Paramount trying to several attempts to try to take over Warner um, and Warner not going for it. They're leaning more towards Netflix. What's your overall take and thought process on it, and who do you think is going to like reign supreme on that? Because I also thought too that Comcast Universal would have got in on that bid, and I know that they were kind of part of it, but they kind of did it like a back seat to it. But and even if they did put in a bid, they weren't really interested on doing anything more than just the content and not adding anything into the Universal parks. But with everything, with Paramount, Warner Brothers, Netflix, Universal, all that good stuff, like where's your headspace on all that?
So, I when I originally heard this news, my money was actually on Netflix. That was my first guess, only because Netflix has a pretty good history of streaming, and they've been kind of like, I guess they've been kind of looking at Warner Brothers as like portfolio, and like throughout the histories of Cartoon Network, Adult Swim, Toonami, um, and then like other like HBO Max TV shows. Like they have a huge portfolio of Warner Brothers. Now Warner Brothers has a very long history of like entertainment. They have a very good history of entertainment. But due to like the recent like CEO's bad directions and like the board's bad handling of it, they ended up deciding to sell their company. So my thoughts were, the first things that they're gonna do is that like they're gonna sell it to the company that has the most money, that that seems safer of their IPs, and that's gonna secure their IPs and protect the best interest of the company in the future, like the Warner Brothers like portfolio itself. So my first guess was actually, Netflix. That was the case because Netflix actually has a very stable history of not only the, like stock sharing, but investments and also like how their management on how they do things. Obviously, Netflix also has a very bad histories when it comes down to canceling seasons if it doesn't go so well, and then also they have a pretty they don't exactly have a history of like having their movies or like their shows into a movie theater. So that was also another people's like a concern. But I still thought that Netflix was going to be the first thing. And then as for Comcast, I thought about it, but at the same time, I don't think Comcast wanted to grab anything related to Warner Brothers, only because like they don't seem to be really interested in superhero IPs, like from what I see, because they know themselves that the superhero IP, like superhero itself as a trend, is like slowly dying out. It's like there's no a lot of people are soon starting to lose interest in DC universe, cinematic universe, but also people are losing interest in Marvel cinematic universe. So they thought that buying this Warner Brothers is just for that would be pointless, and not to mention Harry Potter. I mean, like Harry Potter is not really going anywhere besides like just remaking on the HBO. So that's another, they feel that is not as popular as they thought they would. I think Comcast is going to be focusing mostly on outside of the United States type of IPs, which is a little bit more directed towards Japan and Nintendo, because as of right now, I think they're expecting Super Mario Galaxy, the upcoming movie, to hit at least above 1.75 billion box office. That's what I'm thinking. And they're also making spin-off of a Donkey Kong, which is going to be another above 1 billion box office as well.
That's very interesting that you say that, because I could definitely see your point with that, because that seems like that was like Universal's MO, going into it. Like they were going to eventually like add DC into what is now this Marvel Superhero Island done in uh, Island of Adventure. And welcome in 7H John. It's been a long time. I haven't seen you in a while. um, but yeah, there were like some issues with like the rights with DC, and they just couldn't come to terms of agreement, which that's why they moved into Marvel, which I mean it did work out for a period of time, but I do see your point of how Universal seems to kind of be like backtracking on the superhero kind of genre and not pushing forward with it. I feel like that they're just holding on to Marvel just because they know it's something that Disney really wants. And they're just kind of capitalizing on it. But even though they have to still give retribution to Disney on it, like as far as like for any like merch sales or what have you. But you had mentioned about like Super Nintendo, and you mentioned like Japanese anime and everything. And I will admit, I will eat crow, because I remember when you had first mentioned to me about One Piece, being into the theme parks, and in my head, I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't like see it. Like, I'm trying to picture it. Why can't I picture it? And I went to Universal's Fan Fest, and I tell you what, they had One Piece there for like the meet and greet characters and everything. That had to be like the hottest ticket there for that event. They had people cosplaying into the characters, like they knew the lines from the show and everything. And I'm like, wow, like, okay, I can definitely say that I was wrong, that literally there's a bigger fan base even here in America towards like the Japanese and anime culture, with like the shows and the movies, K-pop Demon Hunters, which we will get into in a bit, like just taken by storm. And you're right, I can kind of see them going into that route for sure. Yeah. So, and speaking of K-pop Demon Hunters, I actually got to see it in theaters. I
Mm.
absolutely loved that movie. I just thought it was like the concept when you think of it, it sounds like it's the most dumbest thing you could actually put together, but it's smart. It was done in a brilliant way where you literally kind of turn this like K-pop girl group band and turn them into the three sisters from Charmed. Yeah, and it's like and you put it into music and you have this interesting storyline that is understandable that you can understand it. And can you see like K-pop Demon Hunters going far even in the industry more than what it already has?
Yeah, I do. I kind of like always wanted Disney to bring like Korean culture related type of movie in the future, and unfortunately, like Netflix was the one who executed that movie itself and won big awards out of this movie. But if this movie was actually out in the theaters during the first week of the launch, I can assure you that it would have probably surpassed Zootopia 2. It
Okay.
it probably would have surpassed Neza 2 as well too.
I
And
agree. I think they kind of hurt themselves with not like releasing it into theaters right away.
yeah, so I think in this case, we're going back to the discussion of like, Netflix buying Warner Brothers. I if should they decide to regulate their on their way of like making movies, because Christopher Nolan really wants Netflix to start releasing their blockbuster movies into the theaters, uh instead of like just only releasing it on streaming. Should they really do it, let's say K-pop Demon Hunters 2, which is going to come out like maybe in like three years or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I have a feeling that it would make so much blockbuster, like at least above 1.5 billion box office probably, and not to mention with like all the like former like Warner Brothers directors joining on the Netflix, they'll make a lot of billions and billions. And to tell you the truth, also another thing is that Netflix also has their way of releasing their IPs, such as One Piece, live action, um, as well as Stranger Things. They releasing their IPs to other companies such as Comcast or Hasbro or anything like that. That will give them more extra revenues out of it.
Okay,
And
so that kind of goes into Remy D's question: does Universal need approval?
right, that's what I wanted to refer to, that question right there. Because does Universal need approval from Netflix to build in One Piece Land? Yes, technically they do. That's how Lego released. Lego was able to buy um the IP rights within America to sell the Lego One Piece, the Going Merry ship. Now that alone itself is gonna do a favor for Netflix, because Netflix is getting bonus revenue out of that. Not to mention, if should they give the IP rights to Universal, for example, they're gonna receive royalty IP from that as well too. So like it's a win for Netflix if they are going in that direction.
I
There's
think
no
that's. Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
yeah. There is no harm in their like releasing their IPs at that point.
I think that's so interesting of how like these companies are trying to do these bidding wars to buy one company over the next. But at the end of the day, they still have to make deals basically with the company that they're trying to do a bidding war against. Because even though that they can claim one ownership over another, they still need to go back to that other company that they were just bidding against to say, hey, you know, we need these rights for this and we'll, do the like there's a lot of willing and dealing. It sounds like a Sunday night from my Italian family dinner. So it's like that's what it seems like to me.
Oh yeah, definitely. This bidding war is definitely a big hot mess. Probably a lot hot mess than the when Disney bought Fox. That's just how I feel it. And not to mention, it became a lot political than it needed to be, and I think that was because Paramount was trying to intercept that deal by like throwing in an unrealistic money from the billionaires trying to buy this thing. And the biggest problem about Paramount was doing this because Paramount actually has a huge history of like losing money and had a like a pretty like bad stock market crashing on numerous times. And not to mention last year they almost like filed a bankruptcy. That that alone itself, like how would you really want to sell that right to Paramount? They're gonna lose that right. Like they're gonna end up selling like Warner Brothers and Paramount to a company that nobody ever knows, and that's a very fearful thing to if you're a movie enthusiast and if you're entertainment enthusiast. Sure, Netflix is also a concern, but obviously Comcast is definitely not interested at this point. So like Comcast is like, hey, I'll let you both fight over it. I don't care. Do whatever you want. We got our own matters to handle.
Yeah. Now obviously, I feel like Iger, spent way too much on acquiring Fox. I think he definitely
He
overpaid.
did.
Now, do you think that Disney should have even acquired Fox to begin with, or do you think
Mm,
that's been something that he should have just kind of stayed away from?
no, I think that getting Fox was kind of a good decision on Iger's way because obviously the Fox actually owned the rest of the Star Wars, like such as like the first original trilogy right there. It wasn't fully like given the release of rights to Disney yet. Not to mention, some of the Marvel IPs. Plus, the biggest IP that they were really aiming for was none other than Avatar, and that was the biggest deal that they wanted to go for. They didn't want to just only have Avatar rights of like opening Pandora in Walt Disney World. They wanted the whole big picture of it. They
That
feel
makes sense. That really does make sense, especially for how much money that the Avatar franchise makes. I mean, it's not even million; it's billions.
right, and then the current shows that from the Hulu like FX, such as FX right now, such as The Bear, The Shogun, they're doing so good to a point that more subscribers have been sitting on it and waiting, and they've been hunger for Shogun season 2 right now. And that alone itself is a big thing, and not to mention the reality shows of the Fox is just like honeyduking, and a lot of people are trying to ask MasterChef, and also what you call it, Kitchen Nightmares to be revived under Disney pretty soon. With they're doing a big deal with Gordon Ramsay, so we're gonna see like a lot of viewers coming up on that in the future.
Yeah, because there have been some sightings of Gordon Ramsay. I think he was out here at Disneyland um, a couple times that he was spotted. So I think that kind of staying on brand, definitely helps.
Funny thing, I want to actually mention before I moved to Long Island, he was actually like during the mid pandemic area, like 2022. He was actually doing a revival of the Kitchen Nightmare restaurant, like 10 minutes away from my home at an Astoria.
Oh
And
wow,
I didn't know about that. And I used to go to that diner too. So it's surprising that he went there to revive that diner.
that's funny. I have yet to dine at a Gordon Ramsay restaurant, but one of these times I really want to. I just want to just go all out and try his signature Wellington. Let's see. 7H John says Hulu just needs to get their multi-view fixed for football. They need to one up YouTube and make it to where you can watch up to like 6 games at the same time.
Oh yeah, I want to actually. I'm sorry that interrupt. I want to mention something. Paramount owns Peacock. If I'm right, no, actually, it's CBS. Actually, Comcast owns Peacock. I'm sorry, like that to get that confused. So Comcast owns Peacock, and it's NBC. So Peacock is one of the worst platform I've ever endured, and I would never want them to host like Warner Brothers or any Discovery Channel right there. If they put it in Peacock, I'm just out. Like I don't even want to touch it. Because if you think about it, the Peacock is kind of a scam. When they do the Olympics host or anything like that, you have to pay extra money for that just to watch Olympics while you're subscribed to Peacock. Does that make sense to you? I don't think so. That makes zero sense to me when I'm already paying for the subscriber.
I mean,
So
yeah, it's something of how like you have to subscribe to like 12 different streaming services just to watch one thing that you're into. Like you have to subscribe to Hulu to get one show. You have to subscribe to Netflix to get this show, or watch this movie, you have to go on Peacock. It's like for how long will that last where you have to like have like a dozen subscriptions? Like I'm curious to know like when is, I guess my signature statement is like, when is too much too much? You know, that's always my that's always my thing, is like, when will the buck stop at, hey, you know what, I'm already paying so much for this subscription, I got to leave this subscription go, but I really want to watch this show. So it's like, how much really is a show or a movie worth a monthly subscription?
at the end of the day, I don't think any streaming companies or like such as Netflix or even Disney Plus should do any extra charges for anything, because people are already paying at least like $15 to $20 per month for these non-ad program and such. Like there's no reason for you to charge extra just because you're doing a pay-per-view kind of thing. It just like, and then like one like 7H John says, I subscribe for a piece for 1 month and then cancel once the NFL game is over. I mean that's a personal choice at the end of the day, but like, would you really pay an extra amount of money? That's the question. And
I think,
Disney tried to do that before. If you
yeah.
don't, if you do remember, like they tried to charge extra just to make you watch Black Widow, and
Mhm.
that infuriated everyone, including Scarlett Johansson. Like
Yeah, they did it for Black Widow. They did it for the live action Mulan. I think they did it for was it Encanto and
no, not Encanto. It was I think it was Lightyear.
was it Lightyear?
Yeah.
Yeah, there
And
was a
then Turning Red.
Turning Red. Yeah, there was a couple Pixar's. I think they also did Soul. I think.
I think so too, but I definitely do remember it was Turning Red, only because I actually did pay for that to watch it during the first week of the launch. Um, and I'm gonna say that I still like raise my fist at Bob Chapek for having that idea, because he thought it was a smart idea. Like people, he thought people are gonna sit down and like pay $30 just to watch that, like for once. Not to mention, you have time limit on watching that, so like if you don't watch it, or like at least like once you finish watching it, you can't watch it again. Like it's
Yeah,
just kind
it
of
should
like
have been like, if it was
nonsense.
$30, it should have been just like where you bought into it and it's just in your library permanently, if they were going to do that route. But to 7H John's comment, I have known a lot of people who subscribe to Disney Plus just to watch Mandalorian, and they'd watch Mandalorian and then they'd cancel their subscriptions. Now that was in the very beginning when Disney Plus first launched, because it seemed like that's where everyone was like most interested in, and they didn't really have too much in the catalog to go on. I don't know if people are actually still doing it with Disney Plus. I haven't heard anything of it, and we haven't gotten anything new with Mandalorian until next summer when we get the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, which I'm for sure that's going to do big box office numbers. I'm hoping, I am crossing my fingers that Mandalorian and Grogu really can bring Lucasfilm out from those ashes,
Yeah, I
because
hope so too.
they need it. And Remy D is asking, Lucas, are you at all excited for the upcoming Street Fighter movie from Paramount / Legendary?
My answer is hell to the no. I'm sorry. All the casting that they were showing right there, and then some of the like the trailers that they gave me, I was very speechless because I thought Capcom would have some kind of like um wake up call and realize that how bad they did with the first seven, first like six movies of Resident Evil, like directed by Paul Anderson, and then the monster live action Monster Hunter that was really bad, and not to mention Welcome to Raccoon City was really bad. They have a very like a history of live action movies that are bad, and then they had two Street Fighter movies that were very bad too. So uh, I get that Andrew Koji, being Ryu is okay, but David Dasmalkian as a Bison, I don't know about that. I know everyone has been saying they could have had John Cena as and Bison, which I actually would have said yes, but I actually would have wanted John Claude Van Damme as a and Bison as well too. But any
Bring Jean Claude back to the Street Fighter realm.
oh yeah, like but I'm sorry, like I just can't see this happening, and I feel like Paramount just wasted another money on their own hands on this production, and I have a feeling that fans are gonna kind of watch this movie, but it's not gonna be as like big and crazy as a Minecraft movie. They think they're not taking this seriously. People actually want a really good Street Fighter movie. That is the biggest issue. Half of these castings are not even like fitting for this movie. Not to mention the trailers, like the CGI looks pretty sloppy comparing to like most of the Paramount movies that I've witnessed before. So I don't think Paramount Legendary are even taking this seriously either. I feel like they're just wasting their money on something, and I don't know why.
What's your thoughts on the Mortal Kombat movie?
Mortal Kombat looks much better than Street Fighter movie, so I'm gonna say go all out. And rest in peace to the actor Shang Tsung, the guy who did the Shang Tsung. I forgot his name. Yeah, he passed away like a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. I was really bummed when I heard that I was like, oh no, Shang Tsung. And then he also played on I'm dating myself, people, forgive
Are
me.
you talking about Johnny Tsunami?
Johnny Tsunami.
Yeah. I'm aware of his appearance in that movie too.
But yeah, I think the thing with Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter, I think they're just so beloved as like with video games, and they're so popular that it's like the films have to do it justice. And I feel like that none of these studios really can come up with like the right concoction to like really get these right. I am curious to see how they both turn out. Yeah, Remy D says your soul is mine. I could just see too in the movie of how he did your soul is mine. And then 7H John says, I think they might make a Rush Hour 4. I've heard, did they actually officially confirm that?
They've been going on about it like for many years. It's kind of funny because like about 6 years ago, they had an interview with Jackie Chan, and Jackie Chan said, they're working on Rush Hour 4, and then Shanghai Dawn, that which with the Owen Wilson. And I don't know what really happened to Shanghai series, because that really just like went kind of like disappeared. That kind of like went somewhere else. It's just like kind of gone. And I hope that they'll do the third launch for that. But I'm very excited for it. But as for Rush Hour 4, I know that like obviously our president decided to like talk to the Brett Ratner to do Rush Hour 4, and they greenlit it or something like that. But I don't know what's really gonna happen. At the same time, Brett Ratner hasn't really been doing like making any movies. Not to mention, he did a horrible job with the third one, and what is it? The X-Men 3, was it? Yeah.
Was it
The Last Stand? Yeah. So he has a pretty bad history of like reputation on like making bad movies too. So like I hope this will be his wake up call, and actually make a good one like this Rush Hour 2. So we'll see what happens.
Okay, so you had already mentioned you mentioned the X word, so I got to bring it up.
Hmm.
Because literally that was like the ending conversation that conductor and I had with the last live, and we kind of left it at that. So I thought maybe pick it up here. With the recent trailers that have been releasing for Doomsday, and I have to say the one with like the X-Men with Xavier and uh, Magneto and like everything and showing Cyclops, I'm like, okay, this like really like pumped me up for Doomsday, and not even just for Doomsday, but it seems like the direction that the next phase after the Avengers is more so going to be X-Men and possibly Fantastic Four. I know a lot of there was like blunders with like first steps and everything. I still enjoyed the movie. I loved it for what it
I
was.
love First Steps. Yeah.
I do think that they need to add more to like another sequel for that. Like I want to see Fantastic Four get another sequel just for them. But I could see them moving forward with the X-Men. But again, just like with I mentioned with Mandalorian and Grogu, you know, hopefully this brings Lucasfilm up. Yeah, Marvel needs a win. They've been being very bleak lately when it comes to their movies. And obviously with the Russo brothers, I have like high expectations like with Doomsday and Secret Wars. But after Secret Wars, now then moving with X-Men, do you think that we can see like another win, like bringing X-Men back from the ashes, so to speak?
Um, really depends. I feel like this is like a kind of like uh Disney's last hope of like, you know, of defense, I guess. If they do really bad for Doomsday and Secret Wars, I think they're gonna pretty much end the MCU going forward from here, and then put it on hold for maybe for another like a decade or so until they decide to do another MCU in the future. But um, I think they noticed that the pattern that people are like getting tired of watching superhero movies as well too, which is why Bob Iger kind of canceled a lot of TV shows of the MCU, and then he's keeping the what is it, Daredevil, Born Again, obviously, which is the second season's coming out, and the third season I heard that is also in a discussion. So,
Oh,
um, yeah, but as for like when it comes down to like mainstream MCU right now, I think they're kind of like slowly dying out. Is so they're they're hoping that Doomsday will actually like be as good as Infinity War box office at least, and then go from there. Otherwise, they like obviously they're desperate because they brought what you call it Robert Downey Jr. and I don't know, should we even like talk about um like on the trailer? Are we allowed to talk about it right here?
oh yeah, yeah, we could talk about it.
Yeah, so Chris Evans is also coming back.
Mm-hmm.
That all enough is like bringing Chris Evans itself is already proving that they're really desperate, because Chris Evans already said that he doesn't want to come back to MCU for quite some time. He already mentioned it, and he says that he's happily retired.
Yeah, I wonder how much that check that they cut.
like I said, they probably were like dropping on their knees and they're saying, "Listen, we really need your help." And
Yeah, when you have to kind of like do this repetitive thing where you have to go back to what you know is successful, and you're right, bringing back Chris Evans as Captain America, they kind of tried doing the Sam Wilson thing, which again, I'm I'm a fan of Sam Wilson, I think, but I feel like even though that he passed it down to him, for me, Captain America was Steve Rogers,
Mhm.
and I think that they tried going that route, and it's like, okay, we kind of have to kind of work our way backwards. And then you're right, bringing RDJ back. It's like, well, we can't bring him back as Iron Man. I mean, technically they could if they wanted to with the
Mhm.
multiverse, but it's like, well, how can we like bring him back, but in a new era that's going to get people to say, hey, this is going to be something different. Oh yeah, we'll let him come back as Doom, you know. So yeah, so hopefully after Doomsday and Secret Wars, that they can pick up the torch a little bit again with Fantastic Four and X-Men. Um, because I do wonder too. I mean, even though obviously we're going to have Infinity Defense and Stark Flight Lab, for Avengers Campus, but moving forward with Marvel projects in the parks, that if it does kind of hinder in the box office, what it'll do for theme park projects moving forward after that.
Right. I'm gonna give a response to the 7H John about please
Uh,
give warnings before spoilers. I do apologize. Um, I usually don't spoil things, but like I, I don't know. Like I feel like the trailer, like teasers, should they be really considered spoilers? Like that's just how I feel. But I understand that people like Disney has been removing any trailer leaks from the theaters. Like I feel like they should just at this point just reveal the truth. I know that like a lot,
they
all
said
the news, all the news has been revealing that who the Captain America like is which characters are returning anyways. But these days social media and the news are like it's really hard to like say who's to avoid the spoilers at this point.
well, and let me see, they already released one, two, and then yeah, Remy D says like the Thor trailer, um, and it seems like they're like releasing them like very rapid. Like as soon as like people see like one of the teasers, it's like the next one like comes out automatically. So now did they release the third one? And then they said the fourth one got leaked. So you don't even know really like what is actually leaked, what is like AI generated, what's actually, but they said that the official trailer is, I think they said that they were going to release it on February 8th for uh what was it, the Super Bowl, I think, that they said. Now it was just rumors that it was going to be that the official trailer was going to be released on February 8th.
Okay. So going forward, I guess we'll probably skip the doomsday discussion because I like a lot of people are trying to avoid as much spoilers as possible. So we do apologize for just like giving like a sudden spoiler alert right there. We
Yeah.
didn't really.
Yeah, I do apologize. For some reason, I thought like, I mean, I know everyone hasn't maybe seen the first couple um, spoiler teaser trailers, but I guess everyone hasn't. But yeah, so we'll just stop it there. As I said, I think that the official trailer is I think they called it for February 8th. That's going to be the official trailer. Okay, so kind of moving, but I'll just say this: from what I've seen so far, it's definitely going to be a banger. I definitely will say that. Hopefully, it brings Marvel back. So, kind of moving off of that, another topic I wanted to bring up, which actually you had brought it up to me, because especially with me being a kid from the '90s, that I grew up on the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Love the Power Rangers. And I went through so many renditions of the Power Rangers. Like Mighty Morphin will always be like the GOAT to me, but I mean, I've watched like Alien Rangers, Power Rangers in Space, Lost Galaxy, Turbo, Lightspeed, Time Force, Wild Force, like uh, SPD. Like I've watched all of those. So I know Disney had owned it for a short period of time. I believe it when it was on Jetix. I think that's what it was called. That was part of like the Toon Disney and everything. Now there's talk that they're going to be doing a Power Rangers reboot. Do you think that this one will actually stick? Because it seemed like it kind of worked for Disney in a little, for a while, but then it's just like, okay, there's really nothing that we could do with it. And then they made several Power Rangers like specials and movies, and it just seemed like it didn't like take off the ground. But do you think that this could actually be the lightning in a bottle?
Honestly, like I feel like they're really gonna reboot the Power Rangers and they want to really make this good, they would need to basically stop using the old Toei Japanese imported videos of fighting and also robot combining and fighting and make it as their own, I guess. And then they also need to stop making it as like kids on a school like after school kind of like activity kind of thing. Hey, what are you doing? Pretty cool. It's morphin time. I hope they would stop doing that, or even like they go into the base and talk about like their social life kind of thing, and then I want them to have a very deep type of dynamic type of story. Like I don't care if it's like a K drama style or a Japan J drama style. I don't care. It needs to have like a pretty deep story into it, not like one of those like a like you know little bit of like a childish type of thing. I always felt that Power Rangers or Kamen Rider shows has always been a little bit more teenager, or like a mid teenager or even adult type of shows right there. So they should really just make it as their own. My biggest fear is that they're not gonna work with Toei Animations or Toei as as a company to when making this. So like whatever they're doing on their own, like I just hope that they know what they're doing, like without the directions or any IP rights, and make it a really good one. That's just my wish. That's really theirs to it.
I can see that. Yeah, I do agree with you. I think if they kind of bring it a little bit more modernized to like move in with like the better like technological advancements and everything and kind of get away from like yeah how it was like with the how they did it in the olden days, but it worked really well back then. I thought it was genius of how they had to like mash things up and everything. So but yeah, moving forward I think they should kind of get like away from that. And again, just with everything, like I hope it does well. I hope that it does pick up because as I said, Power Rangers was like a phenomenon in the 90s. And then it just like it came, it saw, it conquered, and then it just went kaput. um okay, so there's a couple here. So let's see. Remy D, did you guys hear that Dune is releasing the same time as Doomsday? People are now trying to make it Doomsday happen. I have heard that. I have heard the slogan, the title online. If they keep it, because I know that they may possibly change. They probably won't change Doomsday release, but I mean Doom they may, just so it's not going head to head too much. But I mean, if it does stay the same, that's going to be gangbusters in the theaters because I think people would go. Probably they'd leave Doomsday and then still stay in the theater and then go see Dune Part 3. What say you like as far as like with the combination with everything? And are you a Dune fan? Do you like the Dune movies?
I tried watching the first part of the movie. I couldn't really get into it. I know I tried watching the old 80s version of the Doom movie too. I really couldn't get into it. I'm gonna try it again once the third part comes out so I can just kind of like marathon it and then give my insights. But as of right now, like the whole lore of the Dune itself is very deep. I know that part right there, and I think they're gonna go even like Dune Part 4 and Part 5 in the future. We don't know, but I know that the original book itself is like really deep. So like any Dune fans out there, like my respects for you. It's just that like it's just like one of those movies that I just can't understand very well. Like in regards to sci-fi, I don't know why. It's just like I usually am like big into sci-fi movies, but like for this one, I just couldn't get into it for some reason.
Okay, hey, fair enough. Let's see. And 7H John says, "Do you guys know when the new Lord of the Rings movie is coming out?"
Is that the Gollum movie? I guess because they've been confirmed that they are going to bring the Gollum movie. So
Yeah, 7H John, can you confirm? Is it the Gollum movies or is it something else? And speaking of Lord of the Rings, they're re-releasing Fellowship, Towers, and Return of the King back into theaters for the extended cut for a limited time because it's the 25th anniversary of Lord of the Rings. I gave in. Abby and I are AMC stub members, and it wasn't included, but I ended up paying for the tickets, and because this is like I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan, so we're going Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to watch all three movies back in theaters, but it's the extended cut. And 7H John did confirm, yes, the Gollum movies.
It's kind of a funny thing that he kind of brings it. They actually tried to make the Lord of the Rings Gollum game before. It ended up being one of the worst games ever developed by like in video game history. That's what people have said. I think that's the reason why the Lord of the Rings team and then Andy Serkis decided to join in the game to make their own version of the Gollum movie, and they're like, watch how the professionals do their job, kind of thing there.
That's funny. And 7H John also said, and when the next I Am Legend is coming out too. Did they confirm another one of I Am Legend?
I have no idea. I did not know about this. I thought Will Smith kind of like didn't want to be involved in this movie after the like this.
Unless they're releasing another one, but it's not maybe.
Oh yeah, wait. It says that Goldsman announced that a second draft had been written. One day, Stephen Caple Jr. was reported to be in talks to direct a sequel. This is actually the sources from Wikipedia. So, I guess they are kind of working on it. I guess, but like I guess the 6th on March 4, 2022, sequel was officially announced as a development, with Will Smith reprising his role as Michael B. Jordan set to star. Okay, so I guess they're kind of like working on it and to make sure that this is a green lit.
Okay. That's interesting. I don't think they will title it that, though. Okay. Yeah, so they may not call it like I Am Legend 2, but it'll be maybe called something else. So I guess like how they did with the Da Vinci Code, where it's like they called it the Da Vinci Code, Angels and Demons, that kind of thing, I guess.
Isn't that more of like an actual book, though?
Yeah, I guess if you're basing it like on the book. But I mean, like as far as like the title, like would they still give it the I Am Legend title?
Oh, yeah. I mean, unless they said I Am Legend, but like afterward or something. I do agree. I do love the movie though. Like it was a pretty fun movie. I had an issue about the ending of that movie though, only because they had two alternative endings. I'm not a big fan of like two split endings. Like, this ending was is this, and then the other ending is that. Like, I'm not the big fan of it. Like. And when it comes down to movies, I feel like the movie should be like straightforward. But some of the movies, like such as like the 28 Days Later, they had alternate endings every time you watch something, and that was like the biggest issue for me at that time.
Okay, and 7H John was confirming he doesn't think that'll be the title for the Hunt for Gollum.
No, I don't think either. I think it will just be Lord of the Rings Gollum. I think that's just the whole title.
Or they might just call it Gollum. Like
Gollum, yeah.
A lot of movies nowadays are just like one words.
Oh my god! Can you like imagine like them titling as like the Gollum, and then there's like we have trilogy with the extended versions for all three of those again. I'm like, do we really need like a trilogy of the Gollum's journey or something?
And Remy D says, "Just call it My Precious." Oh, that's great. The first 90% of the movie was the best post-apocalyptic film ever.
Yes, I do agree. Yes.
Yeah. Now, kind of still staying on like the film base, because we talked a little bit of like Avatar, and don't worry, folks, I won't spoil anything as far as like with Fire and Ash, because I'm not sure.
Oh, I was kind of worried about it. I was like, oh, are we really going into this discussion after? Apologize to everyone.
But just the overall Avatar franchise, because I know we touched upon it. even Fire and Ash right now is doing like gangbusters, like in the box office right now. Um, but can you see James Cameron doing a 4 and a 5?
I do. I think he's very determined on it. This man had a mission like many years before Avatar was started. He said that he wanted this movie project to happen like for a very very long time, and I think it took a very long time for that movie to be greenlit. And I guess to a fact, I do think that people when he submitted this like work right there that it was going to be like the biggest like project movie that he would ever do. I'm pretty sure the board members are probably like thinking this man is insane. Like, why would you do this kind of thing right there? And and then when he made like one of the biggest like blockbuster selling movie in cinematic history. Oh, I'm pretty sure the board members were saying, "I'm sorry, I didn't know that. I don't know your game plan," kind of thing right there.
Pretty much. Yeah, because
Yeah,
literally he toppled himself over the box office because Titanic was like number one for the longest time, and then he dethroned himself with Avatar. Um, so yeah, I mean, I could definitely see them doing 4 and 5. I will say of how Fire and Ash ended that if he didn't want to do more, it could end if he wanted to keep it that way. So I think that's why he did it, to kind of keep it as a safe bet. Um, but I would definitely say for 4 and 5 that he should kind of do like a little bit, if he wants to have the characters back in like the same characters, but kind of move away into like a different kind of saga of a storyline.
yeah. Not to mention, I have to actually mention this because during this week, the Avatar 3 Fire and Ash actually made 760 million. During the since the launch through the Christmas, it made 760 million globally. It
Yeah. Yeah, so Remy D actually confirmed that with you. Fire and Ash just hit 760 million globally. If they are not doing 4 and 5, it won't be because of money.
That is true. That is true. It would have to be like, James Cameron just going outside, butt naked and just like ripping out the script. And it's like, I had enough of this. I'm like, I've had enough of this like motherfucking like aliens and then like motherfucking blue planet. And he's just like says,
what's very interesting about that comment is that he's naked doing it. Like he's like running out naked.
Yeah, he just like takes off his like like bathrobe. He's like he just like lost it. He's like, I'd rather make Titanic 2 or something.
That is very true. I mean, it definitely won't be a money thing because I think honestly that's a sure bet that if they were to do Avatar 4 and 5, I mean, obviously, it would make money. So I don't know why, and especially as you had mentioned earlier with the acquisition of Fox, why Disney wouldn't want to capitalize to get that money back. Because as you said, Avatar is a big main part as to why they even made the purchase for Fox in the first place.
Yeah. 7H John actually said, I heard that majority of the fourth film has already been filmed. Funny thing that you say that because at the same time, James Cameron is denying that allegation. He's like, I'm not even done with the script. What are you talking about? Kind of thing. So like,
yeah, I was kind of going back and forth with that too, because I thought that he said in the very beginning that they were kind of being filmed simultaneously, sort of like how Peter Jackson did The Lord of the Rings and Hobbit.
mm-hmm.
Like, but now he's saying like they're not even, because even Zoe Saldana made the joke and said, I'll be like in my late 50s, like when all the avatars are like completed. So it's like it almost seemed like that they were already signed on for Avatar 4 and 5. But now he's kind of backtracking saying that the script isn't done yet. Like, yeah, I'm kind of getting like mixed things on that as well.
On that, they just wrapped up the third and fourth film at D20. Funny thing that you say that because we both were actually at D23 Expo. I don't remember him talking about fourth film. He said that he said that he was almost finished with the third film at the time, but he was actually there.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember if I recall him saying anything with four, but I thought for sure, like in a comment, like that he did an interview, that I thought that he said that he was like as soon as he was done with Fire and Ash, it was going to move into four and then five. Because he even said at the time, "Hey, if the fans still want it, I'll come up with Avatar 6 and 7." You know, and now it's like,
Mhm.
oh, well, I'm not even sure if I want to do 4 and 5. I wonder if it's more of a personal thing for him.
It would be a personal thing. Like I said, there's no way that the Disney would let Avatar for be slipping away. They know that this makes money. They
Yeah,
know that this like they know that this is not like this movie is not just like a like Avengers type of movie. This is like a whole original like made in hand type of movie that people are very impressed by, and it made so much money. So to say that they're not gonna do it, no, like I don't think so. They're gonna like do whatever they can to convince James Cameron to here make the fourth movie. They'll probably tie him up and like here's put a pen in your mouth and just start writing script on it.
oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Remy D says, "Have you guys ever seen the deleted intro scenes from Avatar 1 showing Jake's time on Earth getting beat up in a bar? I'm sure they filmed a ton of scenes that go unused. Crazy world building."
Wait, Remy, don't give them ideas. I don't want to see extended edition ever in a theater for Avatar 1. It's like watching 6 hours movie right there.
Well, it's funny because like when James Cameron released Way of Water, they re-released the first Avatar because he was kind of like skeptic of like how people were going to think about a sequel of a movie that came out 13 years prior, and it actually ended up making more money, the first Avatar. And then when they released Fire and Ash, then he re-released Way of Water, and now when they does four, they'll release Fire. I'll tell you one thing: if they ever did an Avatar movie marathon, where say he does complete all five movies and they literally run all day Avatar 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like whoever is going to the theater, like if you buy popcorn and a large soda, they should give you a free catheter. You know,
Or
so it's
or
like
just bring a portable toilet at that point.
because it seems like with each Avatar movie, like the time just keeps getting like longer and longer.
Also, that deleted scene, I never watched it to tell you the truth, and I think they removed it because they probably didn't want to show a handicapped man like getting beaten up at the bar.
Uh, yeah, I mean, you never know. I mean, people have like those moments where it's like, is that a good idea? But actually, I do remember seeing that deleted scene because I have the well, I had the like the extended 2 disc special edition when Avatar was first released. Um, I don't even own any of my DVDs anymore, to be honest with you. It's like, um,
I'll wait until the 8K version of that comes out with the extended version, and I'll just like kind of like be probably watch it on my iPad while sitting on my bidet or something.
there you go.
Because in case like if I have to go to the bathroom or something. The greatest thing about like watching home at the theater is that you can pause it for a second and then come back.
That is true. That is true. And conductor, if you're still in the chat, Lucas said the B word, the bidet.
I actually have a bidet at home,
Oh, you
so
have?
yeah, I actually have the what is it, Toro version. So like I don't want to be the salesperson. I'll do a sales pitch right there. If you want a bidet, it definitely helps you like when if you are not good with like stools or hemorrhoids. I'm not gonna go into a lot of detail, but that's very good regardless.
Yeah, absolutely. 7H John said, I thought the main character came out and said that they finished up with the third and fourth film on the stage at D23. I could be wrong, though. You know what, 7H John? I'm going to go back because you have me curious.
Zoe Saldana actually did mention something about the fourth. I think they kind of like this is what I think. They probably said, like, yeah, we're gonna do something a little bit like a flashback scene for fourth. we want you to do that kind of thing right there. So they probably made her like pre-screen and like, record a couple of things as like a kind of like a keepsakes, just in case if they placeholder, just in case they need to use like a flashback scene. They do that sometimes.
Yeah,
If you're not aware of it, like sometimes they actually do like a flashback scene, and then like they make you record, and they'll put it in like a storage and say, in case if we need to use this scene, kind of thing right there.
yeah, that would make sense. 7H John is asking, is seeing Avatar in 3D or the X version where the seats move worth it?
I think IMAX 3D is what 7H John is talking about.
Oh, okay, IMAX 3D. Yeah. Now I actually will be seeing Fire and Ash again for the third time because I want to see that third movie trailer for Doomsday. But we're also going with my my mother-in-law to see it, and this time we're actually going to go see it in 3D, IMAX 3D. So the third time, we'll I don't know. I might do another out of theater reaction just to kind of give my interpretation on the IMAX 3D.
Did you watch it in 2D or?
What's that?
Did you ever watch it in 2D or did you watch it in 3D?
Just the raise. I watched it on laser.
Okay.
But yeah, this will be first time for Fire and Ash for the IMAX 3D. As far as like where the seats move, I do know that there were a few people that considered doing that. I think I'm not 100% sure. I thought Dragon Blood was one of them. That was considering on doing the moving seats. I thought that he said one of the movies that he did, it was worth it. So I'm pretty sure for Fire and Ash, it'd probably be no exception. But we are this coming week, we're going to see it again in the IMAX 3D. Let's see. They have some seats where the seats move. It's like 4D. Just curious if any of you guys have ever been to one of those before. No, I personally have not. I have heard about it. I'm actually curious about it because I do know, like, I mean, obviously it's not the same. I think Mondo from Five Fires also did one. He did it for Fantastic Four First Steps. And he actually said that like when Galactus came out with the vibrations and everything, he said it was really done well. So I'm for sure Fire and Ash, it'd be good. And we got Chris West in the house. Welcome in. Loved it in IMAX 3D. Yeah, I can't wait to actually see it because I've seen Fire and Ash twice already, but both on laser. So the third time we're going to see it in IMAX 3D. So as I said, I'll probably do an out of theater reaction just to the experience for that.
No, I have to watch it in 3D and IMAX 3D because I actually watched it in 2D and I had a lot of feelings about it. About that.
Really?
There was like a frame rate delays when you watch it in 2D. The reason I didn't watch it in 3D is because I didn't feel like wearing that glasses for like 3.5 hours right there. So like it was like I thought it would make my head like kind of like spin around a little bit, but I might actually consider watching it in IMAX.
Okay. I don't want to feel like I'm writing indie while watching a movie. Let's see. That was my first time seeing a movie in IMAX. Oh, so Fire and Ash was your first IMAX? Interesting. Yeah, I do love watching bigger movies in IMAX. You know, like eventually, like when Doomsday comes out, you know, that would be really cool to see in IMAX. Remy D says he saw it in 2D.
Also, I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one who has that like the frame rate issue. So I'm not the only crazy one right here because I'm like, is there like a frame delay right here? Because some of the frames are like 60 frames per second, and some of them were like 30 frames rate per second. Some of them were like 10 frames rate per second. And I was like,
yeah, you know, it's funny because after watching it twice and watching it in 2D, I kind of, now that it's being mentioned, now I can kind of go back and do see. It even kind of started with like the 20th Century logo, where it was like moving in a way where it was like kind of weird. I don't know.
I hope they fixed that when they released it in like a Blu-ray or official home theater version, because like that frame rate was like is what made me like take out 1 point out of my review right there. I gave it 9 out of 10, but it's just like
Oh, okay.
that frame rate was like I feel like they did it. They didn't even like look back and like fix it, or it felt like they half-assed it a little bit right there.
Chris, was it the same for you with like the IMAX? I'm curious. Like, did it show that same, or was it just with the 2D? Let me
I have
see.
a feeling that the IMAX one didn't have that issue only because I feel like the movie was made to watch it in IMAX 3D. Oh,
Oh,
okay.
he did. He noticed it. Oh, wow.
Oh.
Oh, so now we get to notice it in 3D and IMAX. Interesting. Oh, yeah. I'm
Did
very
you have
now.
you noticed it or no?
I've noticed it, but I didn't really like think nothing of it. I just thought that maybe it was just part of it. But now that everyone else is talking about it, I'm like, okay, now like I'm
Now you
not.
have to focus it on your third watch right there.
Yeah. Now, okay. Yeah. Now I'm like really going to be looking out for it. Let's see. And then Chris West says, I really liked Marty Supreme. I was curious about that movie. I'm very curious about because I did see the preview of it. Um, but yeah, that's interesting. And he also says some blurry parts. Ooh, I don't know if I remember any blurry parts.
Oh yeah, there were blurry parts. So when they were trying, like, it usually happens when too much, like, flying and then too much like
Oh
action
wait, yeah,
parts.
yeah. Now that you say that, yeah, like any of like the movements, like when they're on like the ecrons and stuff. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
I think that is also because they were doing it in like a green background right there, and that
Mm.
caused a little bit of like frame rate delays because they're trying to do the 3D scenes a little bit too much, and then I think that's what got a little bit of frame rate issues.
That yeah, now that you all mentioned that, I great. Now I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna be like really like looking for the scenes like, oh yeah, that scene. Because I noticed something was off. There were moments, and I was gonna mention it in my first review, and I was gonna say, I don't know, maybe it was just a hiccup in the projector. But then when we saw it a second time, and I thought, well, maybe that's just how the movie's made, of how fluent it moves. But now that, yeah, that you're all bringing it to my attention, I'm like, damn, like yeah, there were like some blurry parts and some delayed scenes. But Remy D says Timothy Chalamet is Hollywood's new golden boy. I do know that there was an article that was saying like yeah, any movie that he's in, like when he did Wonka and he did like the Dune movies, like anything that he's in, it's like yeah, he's like the golden boy because he's like the golden touch of Midas. Let's see. I didn't see part two. I'm assuming Dune you're referring to, Chris?
You know, Timothy Chalamet and Marty Supreme kind of reminds me of Johnny Depp a little bit. Like
Like of
some of the
how
look
he's
he
like
looks, the way
portraying.
he looks, like the with his glasses and the hair, and then the like his like eyebrow and everything. If you look very carefully, he does have a little bit of a Johnny Depp vibe. So should they redo like Pirates of the Caribbean reboot, and they want to do Jack Sparrow, like the younger days or something like that?
Get Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah, why not?
Hey, they could kind of get away with that. Okay, so Chris, you haven't seen Way of Water. Okay, so I'll say this without trying to like give anything too much away. Because I did, Abby and I did mention it at times with this. It's almost like, in a way, you can see Fire and Ash without seeing Way of Water. In the sense, maybe with certain parts, that would clarify, but it's almost like a lot of the sequences in Fire and Ash you can get in Way of Water and vice versa. Um, with added stuff, obviously, like with the fire Navi and everything. But yeah, see, that's why you didn't see part. Yeah, really, it's almost like you can get extra with Fire and Ash because you get everything that you see in Way of Water, but then it just amps up. So technically, yeah, you really could watch one and then three. As I said, there are some things in Way of Water that kind of give away that that is mentioned in Fire and Ash, but for the most part, the storyline kind of follows of how it was done in Way of Water. Not saying it's not a great movie. I love all three movies, but I felt like with Fire and Ash there was a little bit more repetitiveness when it came to the water part. I would have loved to see more fire and ash, to be honest.
Yeah, that I do agree with. I'm not sure why they didn't actually add that. I think I'm not gonna go fully into spoilers, but eventually, like some of the scenes actually make you understand. Oh, okay, that kind of makes you understand like why they didn't add too much at fire and within that clan right there. But like overall, the performance um by Una
Chaplin.
Chaplin, yeah, Chaplin. I think she really nailed her role right there. Fun fact is that she originally wanted to change her name.
She did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she and y- I think she made her grandfather really proud. Like after this performance, like she kept that Chaplin name, and I hope she does more amazing job at acting and performance in the future. But like the whole Chaplin like family, they have a genetic like talent right there. So you just
Yeah.
gotta
And
keep doing your best.
she does really well in the movie. Kind of, I don't want to like give away too much, but it's somewhat of a little bit of a spoiler, but without it being a spoiler. I wish that her character was more adapt. Like I wish that they would have shown more of her. I wanted to see more of her character in
Hmm.
Fire and Ash. And I feel like that it does give more leadway, if they were to extend her character in Avatar 4.
Hmm.
But yeah, I would have loved to see more because yeah, she did the character very well. Up until this point, I never even heard of her. To be honest with you, I didn't even know, any of Charlie Chaplin's family like was still like around. But yeah, but kudos to her. I mean, I think she did a hell of a job, with it, and yeah, hopefully it'll spark up her career with that. Were there any other topics you wanted to discuss or bring up?
Um, let's see. I do want to kind of talk about the current development of Walt Disney World and in
Oh,
regards to
yes.
that. Yeah. Um, I think they were kind of talking about what is it, the Rock and Roller Coaster and the Muppets right there. I think they just recently closed the ride itself, if I'm right.
Right,
Originally, they closed the pre-show
they
of the
closed the
of the
pre-show. Yeah.
first, and now they completely close it. Uh, I don't know because I've noticed that some of the people said that they actually rode the ride recently, but
Yeah,
maybe by the end of the year they might actually
the
close it
ride the
permanently.
ride closes down permanently on March 2nd,
Okay.
which is 2 days before I go to Florida. Go figure. Um, yeah, so it permanently closes down March 2nd. Dinosaur closes February 2nd for Indiana Jones.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Now, do you think that they're gonna really like change the whole tracks, or do you think that they're gonna leave the tracks and only change the ride and the decoration itself?
For Rockin'.
Rockin' and also Indiana
For
Jones.
both. Yeah, for Dinosaur going into Indy, they'll keep the track layout. They'll just add the different scenes. Like they'll gut the pre-show and everything, and then they'll change the outside facade. Like they'll maybe repaint and redo like the vehicles. But as far as like I'm for sure they'll replace the track because that track's been there since the opening of Animal Kingdom. So I think the track layout will stay. They'll just replace the track, sort of like how they did with Big Thunder,
Mhm.
um, like where they replaced the track with Rockin'. I feel like that the track is going to stay the same. They'll probably add like psychedelic neon lights, like that deal with the Muppets. We'll be hearing like uh, Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem sing, while we're on the ride. And the pre-show is going to be really cool because we're getting that scooter audio animatronic and the penguins. And then I'm curious to see what they do with the alleyway. if they still keep it an alleyway or if it's going to be something completely different. But I do know that the electric guitar is going to get a more colorful psychedelic exterior to the building.
Okay. Yeah. I don't. Yeah. So I do agree about the Rock and Roller Coaster. I'm not sure about the Indiana Jones. I never really liked Dinosaur as much. Like the whole ride itself was like way too bumpy and way too like rough on the edge right there. So like
Have you done Indiana Jones out here at Disneyland?
no, I am going to show up on April. So be ready for me. I will be there. I am actually flying there only because there's a Final Fantasy FanFest Expo at Anaheim Convention Center. So I am actually going there for the whole week of Los Angeles. So I'll be also visiting Universal Hollywood, and then will also be visiting Universal FanFest during that week, and then
Oh, are
also
you going?
Disneyland and Disney California Adventures. I'll be visiting all of those during that week.
No, you have to send me those dates because that way I'll
Of course, I will reach you out, and we'll probably hang out and
Oh,
stuff like that.
absolutely. Are you going the first day of FanFest?
I think that's a Thursday. Yes, I think I will.
Perfect, because we got our tickets for.
I just hope that it's not only just the monsters and the Scooby Doo, because like I was like I hope this is not the lineup. Like why do like I feel like I wasted money of $300 right here. I hope they add more IPs into that fan fest right there. So
Yeah.
fingers crossed.
And we got Jacob Weller in the house. Welcome in, Jacob. Let's see. Everyone told me Dinosaur was scary, and I was like, it wasn't. LOL. Yeah.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't scary, but it was just annoyingly rough. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
It was like dizzy for me. Like I feel like it was worse than Space Mountain, but that's just me. I think Remy had something about one of the Train to Busan. I think that was like.
There you go.
Have you guys seen Train to Busan? Just heard they're making an American film in that universe.
I have not. Have you?
I watched it like probably 4 times already, and I watched the sequel and I watched the prequel. Obviously, the Train to Busan is like the original one is the best one, but my biggest concern is that if they actually make an American version of it, are they gonna like do Train to Miami with a bright line where there will be zombies going from there? That's just my question. It's like I don't think there's a lot of like a long distance train that people are gonna be able to like do zombies on, unless they make a fictional version of like a bullet train, and then they'll put the zombies there. They say, oh hey, we launched the America's like the longest and fastest bullet train ever, and it just happens that zombies are like swarming all over the place. Last Train to New York, yeah, that makes sense. I believe that. I'm a New Yorker myself. They're full of like a lot of like crazy people out here, so I can understand.
And I'm right with you, 7H John. Indiana Jones in California is the best ride on the planet. I love it. It's my favorite ride in Disneyland Park. That's why I was kind of bummed when, I mean, I'm sure it's going to be a great ride. I'm going to be down there to experience it. But I kind of wanted like Indiana Jones and that ride vehicle and that ride track layout and stuff just to be Disneyland. Like I wish that they would have done something completely different for the dinosaur area. Not it be Disneyland. I mean, not for it to be Indiana Jones, and not for it to be Indiana Jones with that same track and vehicle layout. But I'm curious to see. We'll see. And Jacob, I didn't like the submarine ride. I am right there with you. To be honest, I'm not a fan of the subs. I think it's aesthetically pleasing, like when you walk past the lagoon and you see the subs, but to actually ride it, it's very uncomfortable. And it's just like, I can't tell you like really the last time that I went on the subs. I would probably do it if I was with someone that I was like playing host to and they wanted to experience it. Then I'd be like, okay, I'll check it out. But other than that, I'm not a fan of it. And Chris West says, I miss tacos #1 in New York. Can can you agree to that?
Tacos number one in New York. I I don't know too much about that. But obviously New York has always been number one when it comes down to pizza. So that's unless it's like a taco with a pizza like attached to it. But I don't know. Can you like tell us about the tacos number one?
Yeah, if you could elaborate on it, Chris. Because I do know, like, I've noticed, like, with a lot of, obviously, like with Mexican and Asian um fusion foods out here, like it reigns supreme. I know, like, on the East Coast, when it comes to like pizzas and like hoagies and stuff like that. And what a hoagie is, if a lot of you don't know, it's like another term for sub.
Yeah,
Um,
so on the East Coast side is all like the New York side is always has been like Italian,
yeah,
Greek, Middle Eastern. Like those were the biggest like popularities right there. Maybe Chinese, but that doesn't like in Chinatown, but it's really significant for Italian and Greek right there. You really can't like say no to those.
yeah, absolutely. Let's see. I wanted a 6-story tall ride with a different vehicle. Dinosaurs are big, so I was hoping for a massive ride building with large drops. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I wish they would have done something different with that, to be honest. Um, oh, and then Chris West said they have different taco shops around. I go every time I go to New York. Interesting.
I'm gonna have to check it out.
And then as far as like with the other um developments around Walt Disney World, what's say like your opinion on any of them? Like with like we touched upon like with Tropical Americas and Animal Kingdom, but Monsters Inc. at Hollywood Studios, the Cars area, Villains. If you've seen like the clearance of all that land, that's going to be massive between like Villains and Cars.
Yeah, I think it's going to be definitely massive, and you know, I know that we always talk about like the how the rivers of America being like demolished, and you know the lands is going to be filled. Um, I do think that like you know now I keep thinking about it, but like filling up that river and then like making it into like a flat land right there might be a good idea to like you know have people more crowd to you know not be like packed with each other, and then it will give like a little bit wider space for people to you know give each other personal rooms, and there will be more walking spaces more than anything. And I know that somebody might say that like you know the rivers made it cool. Let's be honest here. Like Florida, the rivers didn't make anybody feel more cool. It just made it more humid and you know like sweaty a little bit more. So like I as long as you know there are shades, I unlike you know Epic Universe, I think it should be okay. But the way I see it is that like they got a big project going on. They're not really like talking too much about it. I heard that you know Disneyland, Avatar Land is also delayed. So, um, you know that I think like the company itself is already having like multiple like multi-test projects going happening, like both parks, and not to mention, I think they're also working on like Disneyland Paris as well too. So they got a lot of things going on right
Do
now.
you see any like major like announcements at this upcoming D23 like they did the last one, or do you think it's going to be more updated info on the projects that they're already working on?
I think it's just the most of the projects that they're working on right now. I don't think they're gonna be announcing anything big for the next like you know couple of years. Once they, I think they're pretty much like primarily focusing on the Villains Land and then the Cars Land, Avatar Land, and so forth. So coming the you know next year of the D23, I think they're gonna just like keep talking about the same thing. Um, they'll probably talk about like you know the what's gonna happen for the next 5 years, but I don't think any like big project is gonna happen. That's just how I feel.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty much how I feel too. I think it's just going to be a lot of updating and stuff. Remy D says, yeah, people talk about Disney not plussing their park. Putting cars there is definitely considered an expansion as you have more walking spaces as well as adding a ride that will be a people eater. Yeah, I completely agree with you, Remy D. It is, even though it's in the footprint of the park, but when it was the river, yeah, you couldn't walk on it. It wasn't adding any more extra capacity. And the Piston Peak area is going to have two cars attractions. They're going to have the e-ticket, and then they're also going to have one that's a little bit more for like the family and the kids, sort of like how Mater's Junkyard Jamboree and Luigi's Rollicking Roadsters is out here for Cars Land. So you're getting two attractions there. And then, of course, that whole back area for villains is going to be a roller coaster and a dark ride. So they're adding 4 new rides within those two land areas. And then with Monsters Inc., yes, we did lose Muppet Courtyard, but they are replacing the Muppet Vision 3D building is going to get a Monsters Inc. show. Then there's going to be the Monsters Inc. Door Vault roller coaster, which I'm really excited to see, and the Harryhausen's restaurant, that's going to be booked up like crazy. And then, of course, as we had mentioned, Rock and Roller Coaster is going to be converted into the Muppets, and who knows, maybe down the road they will, add a theater somewhere and revive Muppet Vision 3D. It's possible.
So I want to respond to the Remy's the question about that, about plussing the park. Can you, let's say that like the Rivers America is not being demolished, for example, like let's just say that they're keeping it. Can you imagine with the Piston Peak Park, Piston Peak and the Villains Land launching, and then there's like a parade also happening at the same time? That lane around at the Frontierland is always blocked by people like sitting and standing in the middle of the parade when the parade is happening. And how are the people going to go across to go to the Piston Peak and then the Villains Land if the river is still there? Is my question. Because you can't. Because that, like, if you're not aware, like during holidays or a big type of like a parade event, that parade where people are sitting, it's like completely blocked. You can't pass through until the parade has passed. Like, because it's like in between the food stand and then people are still standing right in front of you. So like that land needs to be filled. That river needed to be filled, and I think that is one of the biggest purpose of it too. They need people to walk, like go back and forth.
That is I didn't really think of that. That as far as like park operations and like keeping the guest flow moving, that is very true, because it does get backed up with the parade and stuff. And then if you have that section blocked off for it, yeah, how are you getting to and fro? I mean, they could. I mean, obviously they probably could make it happen, but it's gonna be a lot of adding more, extra stuff. 7H John said, "Is the black wall some sort of soundproofing wall?"
I think he's talking about me right here. There's a slat wall. Yes, it's supposed to be a soundproof wall. It's like one of the big trend right now, like the modern wall slat. It is also soundproof.
It says the painting behind you and the black wall look kind of nice and cool.
Oh yeah. Funny thing is that I'm a Disney person, but also at the same time I'm a big Final Fantasy fan. So a lot of these are just like Final Fantasy collections right there that I have. So if you have something like want to discuss about Final Fantasy, I will never stop talking about it.
And then also 7H John says, if you go near Dodger Stadium, try going to Mercado's taco shop. High-end sit-down with amazing tacos. I might have to check that out. I never tried that yet.
That's another one thing that I want to try nowadays, because like the HoloLive VTuber, like the Idol company is like has been doing a lot of collaboration with LA Dodgers. Mm-hmm. So I actually want to go to the LA Dodgers game just to see what like the collaboration feels like, because for the past 2 years they've been doing collaboration with the HoloLive Japanese anime idols known as VTubers. So I'm pretty sure 7H John already is aware of that, since he talks about Dodger Stadium. So yeah, I kind of want to try it out.
Awesome. Well, in that case, folks, we want to thank you for joining this Hollow Gelato Live. Lucas, it was a pleasure having you on for your debut on Hollow Gelato. And folks, this is his first time, but it's definitely not going to be his last. I'm definitely going to have Lucas on a lot more, talking studio, film, theme parks, um, food, even, because I mean, Lucas is a big foodie. Um, and all that good jazz. But Lucas, again, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you. It's been an amazing experience. I think we had like a very fun discussion for at least I think about an hour and a half. And thank you for everyone to who showed up and participating and you know um like asking questions. It was amazing to answer every one of your questions. I love like answering people's questions. It gives a lot more engagement. I'm not the only one who likes to talk about things. It just makes you feel lonely. So I do appreciate Halo Gelato, especially George for picking up everyone's questions and trying to answer and then discussing it.
Absolutely. And Chris West gifting with $1.99 super chat. Thank you so much, Chris. Greatly appreciate you as always. And then Remy D says, thanks, guys. Great talk. It really was. It was a great conversation. And kind of going off what Lucas was saying, we appreciate the engagement, the conversation, the questions, the opinions, everything. I want to thank everyone in the chat. My babe, Abby, for joining. And then, of course, we have Kev, Jacob Weller, Mr. Theme Park Conductor. We had SD Drawings. Let me see.
Mademoiselle.
Mademoiselle. And then, of course, Chris West, 7H John, and Remy D. You three honestly are troopers because you guys stuck it out with me this whole entire time with two back-to-back lives, almost 3.5 hours with theme park conductor, and then a little over an hour and a half. So you guys were phenomenal. You guys are great sports, and I appreciate the support from you guys and from everybody in the chat. And as Abby says, thank you, everyone. And thank you, Lucas, for being on Holla Gelato. We can't wait to see you back on again. Absolutely. I agree. And also, Lucas, I can't wait to actually see you in April. I'm glad you're coming. You're coming out. So that's going to be fun. That's going to be awesome. And 7H John says, looking forward to more cool videos and live streams. Oh, yes, we got a lot coming out on the horizon. As I said, as we're ending 2025, we're going to bring in 2026 with a bang. There's going to be a lot more videos, a lot more live streams, a lot more in-park content, hopefully like with more of the breaking news stuff. As I said, my Florida trip, and then, of course, all the stuff that Abby and I do locally here in California. We have a lot planned, more out of theater reviews. So definitely like, subscribe to Hollow Gelato. And if you're feeling a little bit dangerous, a little bit adventurous, definitely feel free to become a member of Hollow Gelato, where you get all that extra bonus bonus perks as well. But Lucas, again, thank you so much for joining. And if you want to let everyone know where they can find you on social media.
Yes, you can find me on Lucas and Disney on the YouTube, and then also you can also follow me on X. I Lucas K. That's my username these days, and you can also follow me on Instagram, Real Lucas Kim, as well as Blue Sky. It's lucaskim.com.
Awesome. And again, folks, I'm George, the Disney Italiano. And as I always say, in Disney Italiano fashion, stay safe, stay healthy, stay Disney. Italiano out.